Hi, this is Jay at intelligenttrendfollower.com, and I just want to do a quick video today because one of the big questions that I often get is how much money do you need to trade for a living? Or variations of that. How do you trade for a living? Can I day trade for a living? Can I swing trade for a living? That kind of thing. And the one big mistake that I think most new traders make is they're very, very, very undercapitalized. So I want to show you some, kind of simple math that will illustrate this. So, I've just opened a basic spreadsheet here. Um, and let's, if say you have $10,000, right? If you earn a 10% return on that, that's $1,000, right? Pretty simple. Um, and if you make a 30% return, oops, sorry, got to fix my formula here. If you were to make, let's say, a 30% return, um, that's $3,000, and onwards and upwards, and you can play with the percentage numbers as much as you want. But the point is, with only $10,000, even if you make a 40% return, you're only making $4,000. So I don't know about you or where you live, but I'm going to venture that $4,000 is not enough to live on. And I'll just delete some of these columns here to simplify, but uh, here we'll make this 20. And the thing is, it's going to be really hard to earn 40% in the first place. If you just Google, mutual fund underperformance or actively managed investing versus index investing, you'll see that most people out there, most professional money managers, they struggle to consistently beat their benchmark each year. And uh, the benchmark, if you look at the historical returns of the stock market, it's maybe 7 to 8% before inflation, and anything above that, any sort of alpha or outperformance, is very competitive. There are millions of people and algorithms trying to outcompete you. So maybe you could make 40% a year one time, but to consistently repeat that is without taking huge risk is going to be difficult. Um, and that's why I think you know uh, beginner traders have so much kind of trouble trading for a living, is because they're simply highly undercapitalized. So we can just extend this exercise a little bit, right? Um, so even if so let's say you're, living in a city where you need about $40,000 a year to live, which honestly isn't that much money, I don't think, but it's a reasonable benchmark. And you can see that to get there, you're going to need either quite a bit of money or very high returns. If you want to be making $40,000, which is pretty reasonable. Again, it's not huge money. If you want to live in any major city in North America, you probably need at least that much to have a comfortable, decent standard of living. But you'll see that even with $100,000, you need to make a 40% return just to get by. And you need to do that every year. And in fact, you actually kind of need to do that every month or week or with some regularity, right? Because you have rent to pay and groceries and you need an internet connection. Um, in order to trade, and those bills are coming monthly. So if you have one down month, suddenly you're in real trouble. So this is the kind of thing that traders are always asking me, new traders in particular, is how much money um, do I need to invest for a living, or how can I swing trade or day trade for a living? And the simple fact is you need quite a bit of money. Even with $200,000 in trading capital, you need to make a 20% return to just to get by. And that's the other thing is this. That means you're withdrawing all of your capital, so you're not saving to make it easier in future years. Um, you know, I think personally, you need kind of close to about $500,000 or so before it starts to become reasonable. If you have four or $500,000, okay, you can maybe grind out a 10% return, or if you underperform and only get 7 or 8%, you're not going to be out on the street corner hat in hand. So I just want to put this post together, and I do have a more in-depth blog post on this at my website, intelligenttrendfollower.com. I'll link to that in the description because I do have some ideas for how you can get started trading for a living without this much capital, and I share them in the blog post. But for this short video, I just wanted to point out the simple math and reinforce that markets are very competitive, and without near $500,000 of trading capital, it's going to be really tough to grind out a reasonable living. And the other thing I want to just mention is that for many, a lot of traders, new traders, they want to knock it out of the park and trade for a living. Which is fine, I understand, but building wealth and accumulating money is a lifelong pursuit. So the more you can save up, the better chances you have of compounding that. If you don't have to withdraw all of your winnings, you can make it easier on yourself in the future. I mean, these are all things to keep in mind when you're thinking about trading for a living. But for now, I hope the key point would be that most traders that are trying to really make a living, if you're undercapitalized, it's going to be almost impossible. And if you do achieve big returns, you're probably taking some huge risks to get there. And I would ask, can you repeat that year after year? I mean, it's a question you'll have to answer, but I think that becomes challenging. So, whereas if you have a strong bankroll and you do have some outperformance, you can really, make it easier on yourself in the future and really do well. But, if you're coming into the market with $20,000 trying to trade for a living, I just, would want to stress that you may want to have a side hustle of another job of some sort to supplement your cash flow, because it's going to be a challenge. And I don't mean to be depressing or crush your dreams or anything, but I think it is important that you have a realistic expectation. So this is the math. I mean, you can make your own spreadsheet. It's very simple. Play around with it. See what you think. I also encourage you to check out intelligenttrendfollower.com. I'll link to my blog post below. Much more in-depth discussion of what's really some in addition to what's required to trade for a living, some options around if you don't have this much money, but you still really want to trade, what can you do about that? So head on over to intelligenttrendfollower.com. I hope you found this video educational and informative. And I'm sorry to hopefully not be the bearer of bad news, but it is what it is. The numbers don't lie. So thanks again for watching, and subscribe for future educational trading videos. Thanks very much.